Those relationships all are formed through pouring into the other person and seeking to serve those other people. And every time that you seek to serve, it just comes back to you tenfold, not immediately. And you shouldn't expect it, but it's just a natural result. People want to give to those that are serving them.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Gentle Art of Crushing It show, where we focus on learning and sharing with our listeners all there is to know about how to create success in our lives. This show stands on the shoulders of giants. Our mission is to empower and inspire our listeners to create the life of their dreams whilst having a blast in the process. Let's celebrate life together. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kaitlyn, for joining us today on the Gentle Art of Crushing It. I really appreciate your time. And so with that being said, would you mind telling us, a little bit about yourself and, maybe share something with us, most people wouldn't know about you.
Let's see that they don't know about me. Let's see. So, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids. Most people know that. I guess something a lot of people might not know is I was really passionate about, helping people with resumes, cover letters, job interviews, and that I secretly wanted to start some type of business that would be able to help these people and to be able to just, help get people to the next level. And I kept trying different things and kept trying to like skip to my passionate income, and nothing ever worked. And so that's why when I transitioned over and found the Action Academy, I realized you have to earn that passionate income, and was very grateful that it doesn't take long to get there, but you have to go the proper course of, the W-2 to passive income to then earn that passionate. So I'm really grateful I learned that, but had a whole different path previously and was trying to figure out why I had so many roadblocks.
Yeah, that I love that you're sharing that because I feel like it's really important for everybody to understand. This is like myself included, most especially that, getting to where we want to be is very, very difficult. There's gonna be challenges and so staying consistent and sticking with it. And I also wanted to touch on the fact that your personality is like I've had a few conversations with you in the past, and then I get to see you all over social media and in the Action Academy, and that's your personality. I can tell you love to help people, and so that just shines through like super brightly. So definitely appreciate that about you. And the Action Academy, like your position also with the Action Academy, but even before that, sort of leads me to believe that like you are essentially you have the best seat for the show, right? And that you're like the number one student, right? That's kind of like maybe, a little bit incorrect or whatever. So correct me if I'm wrong, but long story short, you're in a great position, to really learn how to apply a lot of these principles and like what you said, go from your W-2 to passive income to passionate, right? And so with that being said, is there anything that you want to share about that? Would you disagree or anything you want to, interject in there?
So, yeah, initially when I first, got my position, helping to connect people within the Action Academy, I definitely felt like, wow, I have access to all these people. This is so incredible. This is so amazing. And then I realized as I was doing it that everyone has the exact same ability, that every single person has the exact same ability to talk to as many people as they want to. Because yes, I know everyone in the Action Academy, but the thing is that it doesn't stop there. I am now talking to people in 20 different communities, and I'm learning them and I'm meeting them. So yes, when I first joined, I thought, wow, I have access to all these people and this is so exciting, and it still is. But the thing is that I'm nothing special in that. Every single person can talk to as many people as they like, and everyone is just one conversation, one phone call away from the next thing that's going to take them down the path that they're needing to go down.
Yeah, I love that. And again, it kind of, there you go again, like encouraging folks, like you can do it too. That's sort of like the consistent, continual message I get from you is like, I am doing these amazing things, which you are. And, you've got 4 kids and, a husband who's in the military. So again, thank you and him for his service. I really appreciate that. And I know a lot of our audience does as well. But you're a real estate investor and you are, making these big moves. And it's just a lot of fun to watch because you continually will go, hey, you can do this too, guys. Let's all, just lock arms and accomplish the life of our dreams together. And I think that's such an important message and really, really needed in today's world.
Definitely, I agree. And just to add to that, um, every single cool thing that I've done, I could point you to 15 people who helped me get there. So I don't want it to seem like, oh, I've got all these things going because I've done it myself, my way. No. Every cool thing and cool experience I've had over the past year of joining the Action Academy, starting with zero real estate but one single family home, has been because of the community around me because I tried doing it by myself for 8 years. It took me 8 years to have the courage to buy a single family home by myself. But with having a community within 12 months, I had people helping me to buy the fourplex, telling me the things to avoid, things not to avoid, helping me with the self storage facility when that was going down, had people help me with the capital raising path. And so the answer is always people. I was even thinking that this morning, as I'm, starting this journey of capital raising, that I was like, man, there's so many things to learn, all of the different terms. And then I thought, who knows these? Who knows these? Because I can learn on YouTube all day long how to capital raise. It's going to teach me just fine. But who's already raised $150 million? Oh, Mike Travella. Mike Travella has. Mike Travella is a friend of mine. Let's call Mike. But those relationships don't come out of thin air. Those relationships all are formed through pouring into the other person and seeking to serve those other people. And every time that you seek to serve, it just comes back to you tenfold. Not immediately, and you shouldn't expect it, but it's just a natural result. People want to give to those that are serving them.
Yeah, I love that law of reciprocity. That is so cool. And it's one of the things that I love about talking to you is that, I mean, you touched on it 8 years, right, before you pulled the trigger on your first one, but there was a lot of research and, learning and educating yourself during that time. And then, now you're, doing bigger deals and that sort of thing. You're more involved and engaged in your real estate investing. But whenever I talk with you and it's really clear, that you know what you're doing. And so that's huge. And I think the other thing I wanted to touch on is yeah, there's that old saying, no man is an island. Like we need people, and it's so much easier to reach out and phone a friend than sit there, Google research, which honestly most of the time leads me into analysis paralysis or just like I'm researching, therefore it feels like I'm doing something. So I'm sort of like getting a dopamine hit, but I'm not, not necessarily moving the needle forward.
I agree. And I actually had that same thought this morning. I was studying the capital raising, which I think everyone should do their due diligence in what they are studying. And I started working on some admin tasks and for the Action Academy. And I thought, what time am I operating in right now? Because, like, I believe one of Brian's podcasts talked about, the orange time or whatnot, where it's like you're not making any money right now. It's just like blah time. You're doing admin work, you're doing the basic things. And then you have green time that you're making yourself money through the different actions you're doing. Like if I'm talking to an Airbnb client or if I'm talking to yourself doing a podcast that can help funnel different, members towards capital raising, through different things like that. I'm like, what am I doing? And then gold time is relationship time. That time with the ones you love. That is the highest currency, is that relationship time. And if you spend too much time in that brown or orange time, whatever you want to call it, you're going to start to get into that analysis paralysis. And if you're too much in that time, you have too much how, you need more who's. You need more who's in your life because then you will be spending it in that green time, which is where you should be spending most of your time, if not in the gold time.
Yeah, I love it. You're dropping a lot of gold like right here. So I love that so much. Let me ask you this. Where would you say, do you mind sharing with us, how you found success for yourself and how you define success?
Well, I guess I'll start with the second question. How do I define success? I believe success is being able to pour into others with the talents and skills that you've been naturally given, God given skills that you've been given, that those are now a benefit to your fellow men, and that you're actually attracting those experiences around you, that you're operating every day in your zone of genius to where people need you and you need them too. And so I feel like the way I believe that I got there was a couple of steps. First was knowledge. I needed to increase my knowledge. I didn't know much about real estate. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to Brian, the Action Academy, and I felt my mindset shifting and changing. And I realized I need more knowledge and I need more people around me who have already done the thing. Prior to that experience, I didn't know a single person who made over $200,000, not a single person who had that amount of net worth besides their house. And so after that, after I've increased my knowledge, I realized I need to take action. I need to join a group. I need to find a mentor. I need to find a community. I need to take action. And after doing that, I believe I've not reached success per se. I believe that there's no ending point to that. I feel like I feel grateful and successful every day, but the only thing that checks that box off for me is, did I help people feel loved and accepted and poured into today? Because if I did, then that was a good day. So that's how I define it.
Yeah, I love that so much. I mean, oftentimes in my life, I have done, so much worse than that, right? In at the end of the day, beating myself up for not having a good day or whatever. But it's also really important that we sort of define what it is and make it attainable for us to have a good day or a successful day. So when we look back at it, we can give ourselves credit, give ourselves a pat on the back, and I definitely love that. That's how you have it defined for your day. Would you mind sharing with us one of your favorite successes that either you solely created or, where you were a part of creating?
Let's see. Well, I guess one of my most recent and one that just has so many people behind it is the $100 million phone call, and being able to raise that amount of money on a single phone call. And it's just cool because it all came through connections. It all came through friendships. It all came through just opening your mouth, just as simple as that. No glorified skill set. And so the gist of that story was that I had a friend who said, "Hey, our friend is wanting to buy a $5 million business. Do you know anybody that might need those funds?" And I said, "You know what? I have that connection. I would love to help create that relationship and help create that friendship and make sure financials are sent over. And just, I would love to be in that wheelhouse. Bring me in." And so the next day, I hopped on a phone call with my friend, my investor friend who had the funds, and then with my other friend who was needing the $5 million for his business. And so we all hopped on a phone call, and we talked back and forth about, the future of how many businesses my friend was wanting to buy. The first was a $5 million, the next was 18 million, and so on and so forth, up to 100 million. And my friend who was an investor, or who was an investor, said, "I really love what you're doing. I'd like to buy all of them." And my mind just went, and I was just like, I can't believe that $100 million could be raised on one single phone call. And after that experience, I realized that people are always the option. This happens time and time again, that you'll talk to different people and you know who they're exactly needing, and you're able to help and support them. So that was one of my most recent just wow moments, life shifting, mind changing moment, to where if a stay at home mom of four kids can do that, then why couldn't everyone? If anything, I'm the biggest pretender here. When I joined the Action Academy, most of these guys are on their W-2s, they're bigwigs, they're making tons of money in their W-2s, working for Google, Boeing, and here I am. And it just shows you it has nothing to do about money. It's all about mindset. And if you have that mindset to go and serve and to pour into other people, you're going to go and do great things and you'll start to operate in that zone of genius. And the other unimportant things will start to fall to the wayside.
Yeah, wow. And that's like a lot of gold nuggets there. That, $100 million phone call, you can never undo that in your mind. It's like you said, your mind has changed forever now. Um, what's possible, who knows from there, but obviously so much more. So, kudos to you on that and congratulations to you on that. And it's like you said, it's because it came from, connecting people, right? And being willing to put yourself out there. Now, I will say, what I have learned from you, through the handful of conversations that we've had is that, a couple of things. Every single time I reach out to you and I go, hey, can we jump on a call down the road? You're like, absolutely, would love to. And then as soon as I get you on the call, it doesn't matter if you got your kids running around in the background or like, you're right in the middle of feeding them or whatever, you're taking the call, you're super optimistic, super encouraging. So what I would say is that, like absolutely, it's not easy what you do. I would say, absolutely, I agree, that what you do is definitely anybody could do it. But you are, working hard at it, and your mindset is definitely showing in the sense of, hey, abundance, optimism, encouraging others. Like it's like you were saying earlier, this is all very, very true and incredibly like authentic for you. And I can vouch for that 1,000% from our conversations again and just getting to know you a little bit is that you do like love to pour into people and you're a clear and awesome example of like again the law of reciprocity again, so you continue pouring into people and it's coming back. Another thing that I noticed is that you have to be connecting with a lot of people in order to say, hey, this individual A could benefit from connecting to individual B over here, I'm going to connect you to. And then boom, that's how you made that $100 million phone call. Is a lot of hard work and a lot of being open and encouraging other people, and just like you clearly love to interact with people and network. And I think that's, I mean, it's just, it's so inspiring because I love to do that as well. I think most people, when we sort of, take a look at, hey, do we love spending time with other people? Most people, the answer is yes. So really, the sky is the limit for all of us. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, most definitely. And I definitely believe that when you can create some type of systems that will allow you to reach out to the people that you're needing to, that it's of great benefit. And like I'm at the beginning stages of just trying to create, I talked to Hayden in the Action Academy about what type of systems he's trying to create because of all these connections. Because right now, I mean, besides a couple of spreadsheets I have that say, people interested in self-storage investments that are interested in, deploying their capital there, slash different capital raisers I know. I need to put it all into one CRM to where it's very beautiful and put together. Right now, it's just the top of my head. Oh, that person needs to be connected with that person. Let's get them together. And it's very just organic. But as that builds to thousands of relationships, I'm going to be implementing today a CRM that can track all those different individuals and help to create those relationships.
That's huge. I love that. Would you mind, do you have the CRM picked out and would you mind sharing that with our audience or?
Well, Hayden suggested I think it's called Monday.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm going to be looking into. But I'm what you call learning by doing. I literally just started capital raising a month ago. I'm in my first, 30 hours of research, but I learned by doing. And so I'm in the process of talking to a bunch of people who have deals, talking to different people who have funds, trying to create more capital partners because finding capital partners is at times difficult, especially when the deals are harder to come by. We're not getting the returns. It's hard to marry the two together. It's hard to create those relationships and raise that capital. I believe possible though, as a result of what's already happened. But something else that I've been working on is just making sure that I have daily touch points. So I have a virtual assistant who goes into about 25 Facebook pages per day, and that are, real estate related, maybe Airbnb, maybe storage, maybe multifamily. And he scrolls through those and he finds the different rock stars who might be a good potential investment partner, maybe a capital, maybe an investor themselves, maybe a good partner down the road. And so he shoots 25 DMs to each of them per day from my Facebook. And then I hop on a call with about 2 to 3 of them. And I'd say usually two or one of the three are dynamite. And so if you're getting, 5 dynamite people into your Rolodex every single week, it only takes a few relationships to start changing your life. And we're not gathering as much together in, physical settings as I feel like we've done in the past. And so where are all the millionaires at? They're on Facebook. They're on these different pages. They're trying to promote themselves on Instagram. There's a lot of relationships that can be created through social media. And so I'd say that's been a huge result of probably 90% of the really big connections that I've made.
Love that. I mean, that's brilliant, really, with the VA and reaching out to people. I don't know how many years. This is again who, not how, why it's important to talk to friends. Because that could have took me 10, 15 years to figure out, right? At the lower end, a few months, right? Potentially years. So I absolutely love that, and it's brilliant. Let me shift the conversation a little bit and ask you this fun question, which is if you were to be sent back in time to age 18, knowing what you know now and bringing your mindset and everything with you, what would you do differently to fast track your success, if anything?
I would definitely, at that time, I was doing summer sales and I was selling Dish Network door to door. And I'd make, 15, $20,000 in a month and a half, and I'd go off and travel with it. And, the 18-year-old girl doesn't need much to live off of, And I'd make just enough to be able to get around to the next summer to be able to go make, 10, 15, 20,000 the next summer. And so I wish I would have gotten that money and put it as a down payment on my first house hack, a fourplex. I wish I would have bought a fourplex over there, just house hacked it, had other people live in it, and just started by doing. And secondly, I wish I would have found a community. I wish I would have been able to find a community who was already doing things 10, 20 times faster than I was, so that I had somebody to look to. If I would have done those two things, I know I'd already be at high millionaire status right now, because I believe just with the community I have, I can hit the $1 million mark annually in 3 years. I feel very clear about that path there. Had I done that at 18, different world. But I also do believe there's a time and a season, a reason for everything. So I'm grateful I'm doing it now. But if I could go back, that would be it.
Yeah, literally everybody at the age of 18 should find their house hack like right away. Because you don't even have to be there, right? If you want to be a digital nomad or still travel quite a bit, it's definitely the way to go. So great way to start. And yeah, you've mentioned community a couple times, and that's something that Brian, I had Brian Lubin on my podcast a while back, and that's what he talks about is like community helps us grow, right? It helps us to stay in our dreams and moving towards those. So I totally agree with you on that, and I absolutely love that. Let me ask this. What would you say your thoughts are on success mindset? So like, do you have any thoughts or ideas on how to go from a non-success mindset or scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset or success mindset?
I love that question because I have been in scarcity my entire life. I grew up with 8 siblings, grew up with sharing meals, if we ever went out, you had to finish your plate, or, dad's going to get mad at you that you didn't share with three siblings, So, it just, the typical mindset of people, the typical W-2, we're getting along paycheck to paycheck. And my parents did a great job in taking care of us. But, there was a lot of scarcity, even from my grandfather and stuff. It trickled down the line. And I'd say I probably had it the worst out of all of my eight siblings. I'd literally go to the grocery store and would freak out if I had to buy one more thing than was on my list. And the crazy thing is, we'd have like 20K sitting in our bank account. And if I had to buy one more thing, then if I bought one more extra toilet paper, that's an extra $5. My mind's now freaking out that I'm now doing it. And so, like, if you're talking about scarcity issues, I had it bad, like the worst. My siblings ridiculed me my whole life for it. Why won't you come out to dinner with us? Why won't you get your nails done? Kaitlyn, you have $20,000. Why won't you send a penny? Like, it didn't make sense why I was so in scarcity when I was secure. But the thing is that it's all about mindset. And so as I kind of dove into actually the Action Academy course, my first initial mindset was when I started listening to Brian's podcast and was like, I'm doing it wrong. There's more than enough. There is plenty to go around. And then I started listening to the training that he had that kind of went over, and I realized I've had a limited mindset my whole life. And so you do need to be around and hear those people. And then the next step was I was now talking to those people. I was talking to Matt Amabile. I was talking to Edwin Byler, who were 24 years old, like 5, 6 years younger than me, and they had 70, 80 units to their name. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. So I had to start borrowing someone's belief. You have to start getting around people to where you can borrow their belief. You might not believe it yet, but you're seeing someone else do something incredible. And once you do that, you start to realize you get to a level from confidence to worthiness, to where confidence is very external. If you buy a house, oh, my confidence went up, I'm a better investor. Or, oh, I look great today, my confidence went up. But the thing is that worthiness is internal. You're already worthy enough to buy a house. You're already worthy enough to have $100 million to donate to a nonprofit. Everyone's already worthy enough. And so when they can shift from that outer, hey, I'm confident because of X, to I'm worthy no matter what, then they don't have any of those scarcity issues whatsoever. It's only abundance, and you realize that there's more to go around and you're able to give. But whenever I find myself getting into scarcity, which I actually did this last week, I actually felt myself getting into scarcity. I said, what's going on? Kind of have to tap into your brain. What's happening? And I forced myself to do the opposite. I was like, you know what? I could make money off of this, this, and that. I'm going to go do each of those things for free. I'm going to go give to each of those things. And as you practice the muscle of abundance, you will start being more abundant. It's just a result.
Yeah, I love that so much. And excuse me, eight siblings. Wow. So that's incredible. A feet and a half, like, that on your parents, right? And the whole family has to pitch in that size of a family. I'm sure. Um, I can relate to that scarcity. I had it super strong, and I would do weird things like drive across town or multiple miles
Yep.
just to save 5 cents a gallon
Yep.
on gas, and it's like really ridiculous, right? Um, but I don't think it gets any, more clear or simple than like accepting that you're worthy. And I think, literally we are all born, with that worthiness. I have this, this thing that I like to bring up from time to time. It helps me to remember that really, I think we're all born here with the challenge of creating the life of our dreams and then living it on our own terms. And so many people do. And then so many more people don't. And it really has to do with, I believe at the core, self-love or worthiness, like you were saying. And I also love that, hey, just going to do some stuff for free. Giving is again, teaching yourself that, hey, abundance is here. I remember Tony Robbins talking about that like a while back, and that's part of the reasons why giving to charity, even, tithing money, teaches ourselves our brains, and then there's scripture about, tithing, right? So, but it teaches us that there is abundance. And I think the same can be said with like volunteer work, right? So that's
I
super
agree with
cool.
that. And to add 2 seconds to that is that, tithing and giving has nothing to do about money. It has all to do with faith. Faith that you're going to be taken care of. faith that you're doing the right thing. Like that's literally the test of life is do you trust? Do you have trust and faith? And if you do, you'll be on the path you need to be. If you're in scarcity, you can't have faith and fear at the same time. One will overpower the other.
And which one sounds better, right? Which one sounds more
Exactly.
fulfilling? Which one sounds like it's going to feel better? I mean, it's huge. So we are just about out of time. Again, I appreciate you so much. Before we let you go, is there anything, any sort of deal or any connection that our audience can bring to you? And what's the best way for our audience to connect with you?
Well, I mean, I'm always just looking to add more people to the Action Academy because, I'm not the creator of it, but I am the connector of it. And the results of the people who are actively involved are astounding. And so, I mean, anyone's welcome to follow, Brian Lubin and join the Action Academy. But in regards to connecting with me, you're welcome to connect with me through Instagram, Kaitlyn McKay, MCKAY. You're welcome to shoot me an email at Kaitlyn, or it's Kaitlyn at the actionacademy.co. Or follow me on Facebook, Kaitlyn Lamb McKay there. So, I don't have a huge following, not necessarily looking to be the biggest, Instagram star. I'm happy to kind of point them towards other people around me. I honestly just want to be the resource to help direct them towards those people who they're looking for.
I love that. And honestly, that's what I want to be as well. You're a huge inspiration to me, Caitlin. Really appreciate you and appreciate your time. I also am, a member of the Action Academy, proud member, and would highly recommend it as well. And so with that being said, thanks again for your time. And this is another episode of The Gentle Art of Crushing It. And thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Are you interested in real estate investing but don't know where to get started or think you don't have the time or money? Are you stuck in your W-2 because the golden handcuffs make it hard to walk away? If this sounds like you, check out impactequity.net and schedule some time to talk with the founder, Randy Smith. Randy went from massive income to leaving his W-2 through passive income, and he can help you do the same. www.impactequity.net.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of The Gentle Art of Crushing It. It was an amazing episode. We know we sure learned a lot, and we hope you did as well. We want to take a second and thank you so much for viewing or listening to this episode. And please just know that we only ask for one favor, and that is to make this life magnificent. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.